just hopped into it. Wait, the Hawks have the #1 pick right now? No. That's too crazy. All right. So we're back with another video. Today we got y'all boys with an NBA mock draft for 2026. One of the craziest draft classes ever. It's going to end up being crazy when you see what the lottery is going to look like. We're going to do the lottery. We're going to do the whole lottery. I don't know if we're going to do the whole first round today. I did the lottery last time. I don't know if I'm fully adept at being able to do the first round, but I think it's going to be a more accurate lottery video because they didn't have Fanspo last time. So I think this is going to be a more accurate video. I have my full top 10 list of who I think are actually good. But after that, you know, it's still a little shaky. Still a little shaky. So y'all do want more of these, make sure to like. We're going to keep coming with these every single month. So make sure to like. This is a crazy draft class. Subscribe. All that good stuff out the way, man. Without further ado, man, let's hop into it, brother. Alright. So we got the lottery. Looking at these picks, man, before we get into it. Spurs are in the lottery right now. That's how deep the West is. But they're getting this from Atlanta, so that's not really the West situation. Atlanta had the #1 pick, and they don't even have their pick. Shout out to the Pelicans. The Clippers are trolling the whole league right now, and the Thunder have their pick. Now, as of right now, the Jazz have their pick, but the Thunder could get this pick. But there is a protection. I think it's top 8 protected. So, let's see this lottery. Let's go ahead and sim this for dramatic. At 14, we have the Spurs. At 13, we have the Grizzlies. At 12, we have the Bucks. At 11, we have the Bulls. At 10, we have the Blazers. Okay, the Thunder get a top 10 pick, so they got the Jazz pick, I'm guessing. Hornets fall to the 8. I don't know what the Hornets were. What the hell, bro? Whoa. My bad. And then Pacers, we got 6. The Hawks fell to 5. The Mavericks ended with a top 3 pick. The Kings get the #2 pick, and #1, it ends up going to the Wizards. Hey, that's a W. Hey, the Wizards deserve this, bro. I'm not gonna lie. The Wizards actually deserve this, bro. I'm not gonna lie. But this is low-key a perfect one. We don't see no ignorance with the Pacers getting a top 5 pick. The Dallas Mavericks getting a top 3 pick. If they get this pick, they're trading everybody at that point. They're trading Kyrie, they're trading AD, they're building around Cooper Flagg in this pick. That's a stamp at that point. I'm not gonna lie. Simple as that. But man, this is actually really, really good. This is really, really good. Like, you got the Thunder getting 2 top 9 picks. That still would be Armageddon. I won't lie. Still would be Armageddon. You got the Spurs still getting the top 14 pick. The Hawks don't need a top 5 pick. They're still getting it. Let's get to it. Let's use it in the mock. We're just gonna do the lottery, like I said, and we're gonna use the consensus. Let's start the draft. All right. Now, #1 pick, the Washington Wizards. Now, on my draft board is a little bit different. I'm not gonna lie. My draft board is very, very different. I can't cap. Because on my draft board, I had Caleb Wilson, but I don't think there's a way. I have to update this. This is outdated, in my opinion. Right now, I gotta say it has to be Cameron Boozer. Cameron Boozer is the guy right now. The floor, the ceiling, the way he moves at the size. I don't think he's 6'9". I think he's every bit of 6'10", and he even got some weight on him. I don't know why people are acting like he's undersized. If you watch Cameron Boozer, he looks. I don't really get that. The person that is kind of falling on my board is a little bit AJ Dybantsa, to be real. But right now, I think it's a real debate between Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer because how good Cam Boozer is already offensively. I think offensively, you look around the league, the efficiency around the league is ridiculous. I think it's easier than ever to come into the league and be good offensively. I won't lie. Like, even Cooper Flagg had a rough start. He's already getting it going these last, 5 games offensively once he got a real point guard. I do think Caleb Wilson defensively is just better than everybody in this draft. It's just what it is, in my honest opinion. So with him having that crazy floor of what he can be defensively, I still think that he reminds me of Giannis, KG. I do honestly still believe that. I actually have a full top 13, low key. So hey, shout out to me, man. I look, you went crazy with this. You can't cap. But I'm gonna say for now, I think Cam Boozer is the surefire pick. This is the pick that the Washington Wizards been waiting to get for years. And then to go after that, Caleb Wilson. It would be my #2 pick to the low key though. The Kings have a lot of guards. I do think I do think this is a situation where they need to trade a lot of guys. I don't know if you have to trade Malik Monk personally, but Sabonis needs to get moved. DeMar DeRozan needs to get moved. Zach LaVine needs to get moved. It does come down to Darryn Peterson, how much upside is there. I think this is a guy that can play on ball, off ball. He can be very good day one and still have a lot of upside, but I think Caleb Wilson has a lot of upside as well. That's the issue. And I think that with this coach, it does come down to Christie if he stays. But I think this is a guy that has a defensive identity and he wants to play with a defensive identity. And I think Caleb Wilson would actually fit that perfectly. So me personally, I think Caleb Wilson would probably be the pick for me here. I will go Caleb Wilson. Personally. Then next, the Mavericks, they end up getting Darryn Peters. But I'm going to be real. Whoever gets this pick is going to be crazy because you're still going to have AJ Dybantsa still there. You're still going to have probably Caleb Wilson still there for a lot of people as well. So I think this is just Darryn Peterson straight up. And then after that, I don't think there's really anybody competing with AJ Dybantsa. But I don't think AJ Dybantsa is really on the level of those other guys. But AJ Dybantsa, I think the real question with me is, I low-key do still see the T-Mac flashes. But with those T-Mac flashes, I don't know if T-Mac is really a one-year trick guy at this point. Like outside of that, he wasn't that wasn't the same T-Mac. But every single time I see the AJ Dybantsa, I start seeing more and more the RJ Barretts and stuff like that, bro. And it's really glaring, it's not even flashing, it just looks like him. So I can't unsee it. I can't. So then you can start thinking of guys like Koa Pete, Mikael Brown, in my opinion. But I'm gonna go AJ Dybantsa here. I'm gonna go with the best player available. May not have the craziest floor, may not have the craziest ceiling of the other guys, but we'll see. Then here for the Hawks, this is an interesting situation because I do think this is a situation I've been saying for years. You should trade Trae Young. You get a guy like Mikael Brown, he could come in there and replace Trae Young instantly, in my opinion. He could come in there and replace Trae Young instantly. Is he going to replace his production? Hell no. But in terms of having that upside and turn into a Trae Young that can play better defense, has more size, still be a great shooter, maybe not the level of playmaker Trae Young is ever to his credit, but he could probably be a better overall player than Trae Young is right now. And he could be a more impactful player on both ends. So Mikael Brown could be a very good pick here. I don't even see my sixth guy. Is he not a point guard? What position do bro play? Hold on. What position? Okay, bro, I have him really high. I actually have him really high. I have him 6. I actually like him a lot, but I don't think this is the team that he would probably go to personally. Chris and Nat, I have him 7. You have Pete 8. Probably should raise Pete to 6 personally. I probably would have Pete 6 right now because this is kind of outdated list. Like I said, I had Caleb Wilson 1. I'd probably go Koa Pete could fit in this team too because they have a lot. But that would kind of troll the spacing aspect. Chris Sinak could be a good pick too, to be real. Chris Sinak could be a really good pick for them. Tunde could be a good pick for them too. I'm going to go with Mikael Brown though, personally. I think even if you think about outside of Trae Young, the guard play, this year Dyson Daniels has not been great. And I'm going to be honest, I've been seeing a lot of Thunder fans talk about it. I think wing play is kind of overrated in the league right now. But I will say Mikael Brown efficiency is kind of glaring, but I do like the upside I like with him. Especially when you think of the size he already has over Trae Young. I do like that. And then when it comes to this team, they could go for a guy that can replace Pascal Siakam and Koa Pete. That would be a very good replacement in my opinion to try to get. Nate Ament could be a good guy that you could try to replace him with, but he would be more like a 3-and-D guy. I don't think he's a straight up replacement. Tunde would be a good guy they could go in there and try to get as well. Chris and that could be a Miles Turner replacement because you got to think about it. Miles Turner is not on this team anymore. So when Tyrese Halliburton comes back, you could just keep Pascal Siakam and just get Chris and that. And then you pretty much have that same team as last year with a little bit more defense. I would even argue with Chris and that because Chris and that may not be the... I'm going to be honest. Miles Turner ain't that crazy of an offensive player as long as you can knock down shots. But his shooting ability isn't straight up ready as much as Miles Turner, but defensively, I think he has a higher floor and ceiling than them, personally. I would personally probably say Chris and Nat for them. I would probably just take Chris and Nat for them. I think that would make a lot of sense in terms of how they're going to want to play and how they're going to want to pick. And then next we got the Thunder. What the hell is going on? They end up being able to get Nate Ament. I don't think they really like wings, though. That's the thing. Jane Quintance would be a ridiculous Hardenstein replacement, but they already got Thomas Sorber to be that, in my opinion. So then you have to think about who would be the next guy they're trying to replace. I don't know if you really have to try to replace anybody at 7. I think you can just pick. But Tunde, I think could be a J-Dub kind of replacement. A guy that could fit that J-Dub way they want to play. I think Tunde could be a guy that could go in there and play a similar play style to J-Dub, to Aaron Wiggins, and all that type of stuff. So I really do like Tunde for them at 7. But who's to say they can't get them at 9? Because next is the Hornets. I think the Hornets would just take Nate Amit. I think I honestly would take, for them, this one is kind of tough, bro. Because they could go Nate Amit easily. I just don't really see. Nate Amit kind of reminds me of Reese Shai. I don't see much of a ceiling there. I think it's a solid floor, but it's not much of a ceiling. I think Tunde is a good pick for the Thunder, man. I think that's a really good pick. But Cole Pete would actually be a really good pick as well. I'm gonna take Tunde. I'm gonna take Tunde. And then when it comes to the Hornet, it comes down to Cole Pete and Nate Amit. I don't know what you go there. I think the way that they want to play, both really does fit. Both really does fit. Let me know who you feel about this one, Sawyer. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Hornets, Amit or Pete, because they are trading Miles Bridges 100%. Okay. I do think y'all probably need a little bit more big depth, where Nate Amit is more like a wing, and you already got Khan, you already got Brandon Miller, but honestly, I've been saying for a couple that maybe you be wanting to trade Brandon Miller, and you got to think about Zion had a good start to the year. He may not still be shooting to the same level, but he's still a good defender. Liam McNeely is a great guy, in my opinion, for 3-and-D, so maybe not Nate Amit. You may just go Cole Pete, because I'm looking at your big depth. You got T.J. Solana that had a good game recently. I'm not really a big believer in him, but outside of him, you got Kalk and Dybantsa at center. You don't really have power forwards. So I do think Cole Pete would make the most sense here, personally. And then, the thing is that's really crazy. Whoever you didn't pick here was going to go to the Thunder. And the Thunder's probably going to take him. And I think they just take Nate Amit at 9. Oh my gosh. Do you see the picks they have? They have 18th pick. Bro, what is going on in this draft, man? What is going on in this draft, bro? The Thunder have crazy amounts of picks. Crazy amounts. Alright, and then the Blazers. The Blazers need a PG, in my opinion. Lebron Phelan has actually been pretty good so far this year, in my opinion. I actually had Nate Amit way lower than... I had Nate Amit at 11 on my board, so him going 9 is not that crazy, actually, thinking about it. Here, I have at 10 Kingston Flemings, who you could argue, in my opinion, is better than Quinn Sinnett. I just think Sinnett has probably more upside, but Kingston Flemings I actually do like a lot. I like him a lot as a playmaker, as a point guard, a bucket getter, to get to his spots, all that type of stuff. It's a lot of guys on here that's low-key, like, just underrated. There's Acuff. I like I actually like him. I had him at 6. I actually probably take him for the Blazers, especially when you think about they got they kind of have a big lineup as well. I think he would actually fit with how they want to play with a big lineup too. I think he would be a pretty solid pick for them. I actually would take him for them. I actually like him. And then here we got the Bulls. The Bulls need a big with defense. Quintet, that's a no-brainer in my opinion. I think that's just a no-brainer overall. And then here you got the Bucks. They already have Ryan Rollins, in my opinion. Outside of Ryan Rollins, who is really for the future for this team? You could argue KPJ. I think if Giannis leaves, Miles Turner is a trade piece at that point. Really, Andre Jackson? Yeah, I'm not really. It's not too many future. Like this future is cooked. That's why I'm saying like we gonna. Yeah, they need to prioritize future in that trade for sure. Like a lot of future players and a lot of picks. So honestly, I think here Ryan Rollins is your guy for the future. So it's all guards, by the way. Here. It's all guards. I actually like Yaxel a lot. I'm going to go Yaxel. I like Yaxel a lot, personally. I have him at 13 on my board. And then the Grizzlies pick. I think you're probably going to trade Ja. I don't know what you get back for Ja, so I'm not really looking at that. So I'm going to just go with Kingston Flemings, personally, for me. That'd be the best available player on the board for me. And I think that's who they would go. And then here, you got the Spurs. Genuinely don't know who you go here. Kareem Lopez, I don't know much about. Dame Star, I don't know much about. At this point, I just don't know a lot about a lot of these guys. I like I've seen some stuff about Darius Acuff. I've seen some stuff. I know stuff about Darius Acuff and Filon. It's just, bro, you already have De'Aaron Fox. You already have Stephon Castle. You already have Dylan Harper. You already have Devin Vassell. You have good guards, like a good rotation of guards already. You don't need another guard, in my opinion, like personally. But those guys may just, but you could just build your team similar to how the Thunder built their team, where it's really a lot of guards. Cause like I said, I think wings are kind of overrated in this league, bro. Where if you have guards that can play up, but also very good on ball, that could be better. A guy like Darius Acuff is a really good pick for me, in my opinion, for this team. Let me see his negatives though. That's the issue. What is his negatives? See, he's not a good 3-point shooter yet, so that's a tough like buy. Lebron has actually been hooping. He's been hooping this year. Jumbo Kyle Lowry is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Best floor general in the draft. Creative, quick, and on point every pass. Good shooter. Could turn into a great one. Okay. Lackluster transition defense. Darius Garland, Goran Dragic, Chris Dunn. So a combination of those three. That's an interesting combination. Because Chris Dunn, a really good defensive, a scrappy defensive. What to expect offensively? That sounds like a. He had him ranked 94 though. What the hell? Is that last year? Ranked 94, and his comp was Darius Garland, Chris Dunn, and Goran Dragic. What? He got a fatter ass Kyle. All right, bro. What are you talking about? I don't know who to go here, to be honest. Cause like I said, I got 13 guys. It gotta be somebody I'm forgetting. Okay. Let me go back to the top. I picked Yaxel. How the hell did I? Oh, no, because I picked 13. I already picked 13. I think we just go with LeBron. I don't know if that's the real smart pick here, personally. They probably need a wing, but I'm not knowledgeable of these wings, personally. I'm just not. Yeah, I'm just not knowledgeable of the wings. So I'm going to actually just go ahead and take the best player available. How do you say bro name? Genuinely. But yeah, that's who we gonna go with, and that's gonna be our mock draft. What it looks like. Cameron Boozer goes to the Wizards. I was gonna say the Commanders. Go up Pete goes to the Hornets. Caleb Wilson goes to the Kings. Native Mint, you know what I'm saying? I'm reading it like this. I know, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's the lottery, bro. Y'all do want more of these picks? They want a developmental wing. I don't know any developmental wings, so it's kind of tough picks at that point. So it's just kind of what it is. I don't think they want to waste the pick, though. That's the issue. Like, they want a developmental wing, but they also want somebody that's going to have a good floor. So, like, I think they're going to kind of pick. I don't know, actually. They may not. The Spurs usually do kind of pick developmental. They don't really go for, like, the low-risk, high-reward guys. They kind of just go for you kind of are right. They do kind of go for those developmental guys in those mid picks. Like, Carter Bryant was a mid first-round pick. So, you kind of right. Lonnie Walker. I don't remember what DeJounte Murray got picked, but you kind of are right. So, yeah, that's going to be my mock draft. Y'all do want more, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff out the way, man. Without further ado, man, it's your boy Fitzky. I'm out of here.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!